Hello, everybody, and welcome back to MADPod Episode 2 for the month of July 2021. As always, I am Mike Martin, joined by my partner in crime, Dean Cuddy, Dean Cutie. What up, bud?
Hi. Did you forget my last name and replace it with Cutie?
No, I just didn't know if I wanted to say your full last name or just keep it Cuddy.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I was debating to say the whole thing, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, no problem. What's up, man? Welcome back.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a month and some change, I think, since E3, since our first episode.
Yeah, it has.
Predicting E3. I don't think we got anything right, but maybe we can take a look. And maybe
we'll talk a little bit about E3 in this episode. We'll talk a little about some of the games we're playing, and we'll talk a little bit more of channel stuff as we probably will in every one of these episodes.
Constantly shifting, constantly changing.
Always. That's the nature of creativity, man. That's the nature of creativity. You always got to try something new. Always got to keep pushing forward. Let's start with E3 though. E3 was, it was all right. I'm not mad or really disappointed at it because it was following a pandemic. So I truly did not expect an insane amount of things. I would say probably the only company I was actually disappointed in was Nintendo.
Oh, really?
And not even because the games they announced were bad, but because the Switch Pro needs to be announced and the Switch OLED is not good enough.
No, it's
even
not.
Though that came slightly after E3, it's just not remotely what people want.
So their direct wasn't the source of your disappointment as much as...
No, I guess technically it wasn't. I don't remember much of what they announced though.
The new Metroid game, the 2D one. I think we actually predicted that. One of us did.
I think we did as well. I think we both talked about Metroid. Or no, yeah, I don't know. One of us talked about Metroid. Breath of the Wild 2, we both said I think we were going to see, which, it looks like Breath of the Wild, but Skyward Sword as well. Like it just looks like Skyloft got added. And Link, either you're playing as a very hairy Link or you're playing as Ganon, and they don't want to reveal it yet. That's a theory right now, is that you're actually playing as Ganon. Because you never see Link's face in the whole trailer, and his hair is really long and thick.
And he's got like a messed up arm.
Yeah, he's got an arm. It's like where the power's coming from or something, it looks like. Yeah, so I don't know. It's an interesting theory. I don't know if I want to go too deep yet on that. What else did Nintendo announce?
A WarioWare game, which I'm not unironically excited for.
I didn't even know they announced a WarioWare game.
You like, instead of just playing the micro game, you play as Wario interacting with the micro game.
Okay, interesting.
On like a jetpack.
All right, that's cool. I'm into it. Oh, you know what else they announced? They announced, as we both predicted, a new Smash Brothers character, and he was out like immediately. Kazuya from Tekken. And a big shout out to Dev, who tweeted a Kazuya prediction like 2 fucking years ago, which is insane. It was such a good tweet too. And Advance Wars. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. The editing for that Kazuya video was so good. So good.
Excellent.
Well done, Dev.
Go watch it. If you go to Twitter, Dev2000 is who you're looking for. It should be his pinned tweet still. And then I guess Mario Party Online stuff, cool. Advance Wars reboot, I'm cool with. Cool. I'm interested in. And that was like it. Was
the Metal Slug strategy game?
That's PC.
That was okay. So that
PC
wasn't
exclusively.
Was that announced at Microsoft then? Where was that announced? I can't remember.
I don't remember. It was definitely E3 though.
But that's what excited me.
Oh, and then Shin Megami Tensei 5, I guess, is coming. And No More Heroes 3 for the Switch.
Yeah. Which
I think I'm excited for, but after Deadly Premonition 2 and seeing how that game ran, I don't know how excited I actually am. We'll see. That's it for Nintendo E3 stuff. Microsoft was really the winner, and I think if you want to go with winners and losers, I think that's a lot of fun to talk, though. I think Microsoft really took it home, but that's just because they just bought every company under the sun, so they just have so much shit.
Yeah. Starfield, by all accounts, is looking pretty realistic.
Is it though? Because what did we know? What does it look like? We haven't seen anything. We saw a man get in a spaceship, flip a few switches.
I didn't say anything about its quality. I just said it looks more like realistic and...
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. I have no hope in Bethesda right now. We'll see what they do. Really, it's Arcane that the ones that we really should care about. Deathloop looks great for PS4. It's Sony exclusive on the console and on the PC, I think, at launch.
That's right.
That's going to be sick. What else did Xbox have, though? Obviously, all the Bethesda shit. Arcane is what I was talking about. They have another one. Oh, the vampire game. That weird 4-player co-op vampire game.
Oh, yeah, Redfall.
Yeah, the same people who did Prey are doing that.
The thing is, it could be sort of confirmation bias, and every time I see 1 out of 20, I think, everyone is like that. But it feels like every game that was announced at E3 is a fucking 4-player co-op shoot against zombies or some kind of mob coming at your game. It's like that's back in the trend, because we've got Back 4 Blood. I'll forget like all of them now, but we've got Back 4 Blood, we've got Redfall, and we have like several others that I know are coming. That Rainbow Six game, same thing. That's been delayed, of course, until 2022 now. But
whatever.
Like, I was disappointed in that final reveal with Microsoft, because I want single player narratives from Xbox, because they have the money to make better ones than Sony if they wanted to.
They do, yeah.
That's what I want. But they seem to be... I don't know. I'm sure they've got games in the pipeline that we haven't seen yet, but they seem to be going more towards the get you on Game Pass and keep you on Game Pass every month because you're playing these online games.
Yeah, that's definitely... I mean, that's 100% the direction that they're going. Their Game Pass is their main focus. And I actually read an article, because we talked about it last time on the podcast, like how long can this go? How long can Microsoft keep doing this? And I read an article, it was like Forbes or something, about that. Like, what is the plan? Can they keep this going? And basically the answer is Microsoft is working with infinite money, and what they're doing right now is building something to rival Epic Game Store and Steam. And once they have the base of people who have all their games that they don't want to give up, then we might see a price increase to $10 a month instead of $5 or something. But right now, because they're in such a good spot, because they have so many and the other thing, that's right, they interviewed some Microsoft people, and they said that more often than not, a higher percentage of people who end up getting the game on Microsoft Game Pass buy it through Microsoft Game Pass after they've played it for a few hours. So there are a ton of people, apparently, that are getting games on Microsoft Game Pass and then buying it full on and just buying the game through Microsoft Game Pass. So I don't know why people would do that. I don't think it's guaranteed that all games stay on Game Pass forever. I don't think that's the case. But I guess way more people than not are buying it through that way. And that makes sense to me. That's like the missing piece I think we were missing last week, is that there's like a good chunk of people buying it through the system. Yeah.
I wonder how many of those people don't understand what Game Pass is, and they think it's like a glorified demo, and they're like, "Oh, I like that. I'll buy the game."
I don't know. I would wager probably not an insignificant number of people probably like, it's just a sick demo. Let's just buy the game. Whatever. It's working for Microsoft, and we all benefit. For whatever reason, Microsoft Game Pass still is the best deal in gaming. You cannot go wrong. As somebody who subscribes to Microsoft Game Pass, Sony Plus, like all the other, like I still think I'm on EA now. There's just no Microsoft just fucking like, you can almost all the ways when a game comes out, I'm like, before I buy it, I'm like, wait, is it on Game Pass? And it's like 6 or 7 times out of 10 it is. Psychonauts 2 is going to be on Game Pass day one, which we said that was our prediction. We were like, that would be sick if it was a day one Game Pass thing. We did say that, and it's a day one Game Pass. That's so great. I'm so excited for Psychonauts 2.
Hell yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well.
I will not be doing a playthrough of that. I am doing just a Judge Mathas. Even when the game, even if I don't get an early code, which I have reached out for everybody, I'm still just I'm not gonna play it. I want to play it myself and do a video on it. And I think I'm gonna slowly start moving Judge Mathas videos and just download them from the Judge Mathas channel and move them over to the Mathas Games channel slowly, just so we can get the library of all the 2 years of work that you and I did on the other channel as well. And Psychonauts is probably a good one to start with, just to get it over there.
Yeah, that is a great idea.
Back to E3. So Psychonauts 2 was another Xbox announcement that it was going to be a day one Game Pass thing. I don't know if there was much else.
Halo 5 multiplayer is free. That's kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool though. That's cool. Yeah, I'm into
looking
that.
forward to that.
I'll definitely play some Halo multiplayer. It's been since like 2 or 3 since I have.
I was disappointed with no Fable. I really want
Yeah,
Fable.
that's right. I forgot that was even a Fable that had been announced prior.
I'm disappointed we didn't see anything. They got a name drop, I think, but we didn't see anything from, I think it's called Avowed, right? The Obsidian, like, Bethesda killer.
Yes. Yeah, the
kind of obsolete.
it's what the what is it you say?
Avowed, maybe?
Yeah,
By
Avowed,
Obsidian?
it's the Elder Scrolls like rival, right?
That's right,
that
yeah.
one. Yeah.
The Bethesda killer that's no longer needed, really.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. And now that Microsoft has both Obsidian and fucking Bethesda, I want them to give Obsidian Fallout.
Yeah.
I want Microsoft to be like, excuse me, we're just going to give that to Obsidian, please. Give me another side game. Give me another New Vegas style game. Like, I don't care. Just give Obsidian Fallout again, because they are the ones that tell the best fucking Fallout stories.
Yeah.
That we've had in modern times anyway.
Well, are Obsidian making Outer Worlds 2?
Yes, that was announced at E3 as well. Outer Worlds
Right.
2 is being made. So their Fallout is being another one. I like Outer Worlds. I'm super up for a sequel. I want to see it get bigger and a little bit more kind of like all-encompassing. But Outer Worlds 2 was a great game. Did you play it?
I played a little bit of it. Hannah
Didn't get
played a
too
little
far?
bit of it as well, my girlfriend. I didn't get
Yeah.
very far. She didn't get very far. I think we were both... we just wanted it to be a little bit like... of a deeper of an RPG, I suppose. It felt a little bit like... almost like a prototype for a Bethesda game, if I'm honest. In a way...
Yeah, I can see that.
It felt like it wasn't fully all connected and done.
A little too smaller scale for you?
Yeah.
Like you wanted to see it blow out its systems a little further?
I think so, yeah. I think I've described that poorly, but yes, that's right.
No, I think I know what you're saying. I think I agree with you. I enjoyed it because it was, the story was really fun and tongue-in-cheek and stuff. But overall, like, it wasn't too difficult. I remember there's like a couple really good ways to play the game and everything else didn't really matter, even though there were a lot of options and choices. And I remember the companion system being a neat idea that had some really good parts to it that otherwise the companions themselves didn't feel all super helpful. I liked it enough. I'm hoping that the second one, they really kind of go all out. I'm thinking like, if you want a good solid RPG that you can play with Hannah too, that's like in that style. Have you played Wasteland 3 yet? Incredible. It's top down. But I don't know if you care about that. It's more of a CRPG, XCOM style turn-based combat, but it's co-op and you can play it with like Divinity 2. It's Divinity 2 style game, but except it's made by inXile. And you know what Wasteland is. It's old school Fallout. It's the OG Fallout. That game is so fucking good, dude. I think you would love that game. That is a heavy RPG.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll take a look.
I'm just telling you, go play it. Like, that's a deep RPG with so many different ways to do it, from talking to combat to stealth to hacking. Like, it's really, really good.
Wasteland 3?
Wasteland 3. You don't need to play any of the other ones. You don't. It's this brand new story in a brand new state. It just like all Fallouts are like, there might be references, but that's it.
Right, okay.
It's real good. I really want to play it too. I was starting to play that towards the end of my stay at the apartment before I moved. And then just life got crazy and I just could not give it the time that it needed, but I want to go back really bad. Sony. Was Sony there?
Sony was not there.
Sony.
I was going to say, I was left wanting this year at E3 because my dear Sony was not there.
You are a Sony fanboy.
A little bit, yeah. I try not to let it. Not to let it influence my my opinions of things. But let's just have it right. PS4 dominated because not in small part because of their dedication to the narrative in their games, and I really think that's important because. We all want games to be recognized for the art that they are, and it's great that we have these games now that tackle subjects that I saw a tweet today that was like 80s games run, jump, eat flour. 2010 games, you are a dark, depressed man, grizzled with depression. It's like, that's so cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
to see.
I love that. I agree. I agree. PS4, like Microsoft lost its way in that era. Like, because the 360 was that for me what the PS4 was. The 360 had so many good like single player games, and the 360 PS3 era was still the like the middle. It was like the teen years of telling stories. Like PS2, I'd say, and Xbox were the beginnings of really telling these deep stories. But the 360 PS3 was like the teen years, and Xbox had like everything. The PS3 had some really good titles, don't get me wrong, but the Xbox was the machine for literally everything. And then PS4 era came around, and the Xbox One, stupid, first of all, terrible name. Their E3 presentation was disjointed and about sports and media. And then like what they focused on for the first 2 years was Kinect focused for so long. They were just a disaster. Meanwhile, like you said, PS4 and Sony just heavily invested in its console, in it being a game machine, and then in its solo titles with like the Uncharted series continuing and wrapping up on the PS4, the God of War relaunch at the end of the console's life. Obviously, The Last of Us, both one and
Masterpiece.
Well, the remaster was on 4, right?
Masterpiece, yeah.
Yeah, masterpiece to some. It was an excellent. They really did do a lot to push forward immersive storytelling in single player games. I mean, ever since the PS3. While they may not have succeeded, look at Uncharted 1. The animations of like taking cover were varied, and he was reacting to things as they were happening. That was new, and that was really exciting, and they really kind of just kept going with that. I'm hoping in this era we see Sony continue that, which I think we will. But I hope and I think we will with what we saw at E3, Microsoft come back and come on par with them on offering really good single player like narrative focused either action or RPG games, just really good single player stories in different genres.
I would love that.
Me too.
So yeah, I was sad not to see Sony at E3, and I'm it feels like there was a vacuum there that hasn't been filled, and so I'm not sated.
Sure.
I'm hoping that the August rumors of State of Play in August, I'm hoping they're true.
I would love that. I would love to see something from them.
Because I was listening to a podcast today, and they mentioned, I don't know how true this is, but to my brain it seems true. Outside of, no, actually, we don't know a single PS5 exclusive going forward. Single first party PS5.
Is God of War 2 going to be
That's
on the
PS4?
PS4?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nothing PS5 exclusive. We don't know
on the
anything.
horizon. That's interesting.
Which is insane to me.
I have heard that we are going to get, and it's not technically exclusive, but we're going to get a remaster of Bloodborne. And like, there's a leaker that came out and said that there's like the final hunt edition or whatever. And apparently that particular leaker is relatively well like on cue with everything he's called so far. That would not surprise me though. It would not surprise me at all if we got Bloodborne on the remastered at 60 frames a second on the PS5.
It needs
I want that. It does. It really needs it.
They know that fans want it. They aren't doing it, which must. I mean,
they're not saying anything at least, which
exactly they're not doing a free patch, which a lot of developers are doing. They know that people want it, so the logical conclusion is they must be trying to monetize it soon.
That's what I mean, dude. I will throw money at it happily. Give it to me.
Amazing.
I can't wait. I want to play Demon Souls on the PS5. I have it. I bought it. I found it used surprisingly in the wild in perfect condition. So I was like, yes, please. But I haven't even booted it up yet. I'm like waiting to. I'm waiting to finish the game I'm playing through right now. But I'm excited because it looks gorgeous, and I would love to see that for Bloodborne. Give me a Bloodborne that's just HD remastered, even more so, 4K, whatever, at 60 FPS. In that leak, I think they said it also is coming to PC. It would be PC, PS5.
That'd be brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you have you played the DLC for Bloodborne, or did you just play?
Nope, I didn't even beat Bloodborne. I didn't even beat it. It's the one Souls game, other than Demon Souls, because I never bought Demon Souls into the PS3, that I never played through. I've beaten all the Dark Souls, all the way through, secret endings, all that shit. And Bloodborne, I played about halfway through, but I'm going to sound stingy, but I could feel the 30 frames. It was frustrating the shit out of me. And I was just like, I can't do it. And I put the game down because I'm a snob. So I'll play through it instantly.
Incredible game.
Yeah,
Where did you get to?
I beat the dancer. I remember I beat the dancer in the hall. Dancer of the Boreal Valley.
Oh, right.
She kind of. Oh wait, that's Dark Souls, isn't it? That's Dark Souls. Yeah, that's Dark Souls. No, the boss I beat in Bloodborne. Yeah, that's Dark Souls. The dancer girl. Shit, I know I beat Cleric Beast. I beat a few bosses. I can't remember the last one I beat though. I didn't get to. I was in the library, I think, with hands coming out of the book. Grabby hands coming out of books in the library. That's Dark Souls, right? Or that's Bloodborne, isn't it? With the candles on their head.
Did it start to get like alien-y?
Yeah, a little alien-y.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
A little Lovecraftian, a little weird with what was going on. Yeah.
Such the environment design in that game is fucking incredible.
Which actually will lead us to the last point of our E3 conversation, Elden Ring. We got Elden Ring footage. We literally got a lot of it too. And it looks great. I can't wait. It's going to be semi-open. It's going to be like open world, I guess. Like you can go anywhere, anytime. There's a mount. There's like you're riding a horse and through the game at one point. Looks sick.
I think the design philosophy seems to just be, we'll take Dark Souls, and instead of having the way we connect the world be nice, tight, intricate design, just flatten it out and put
spider web it out instead.
Yeah. But
I'm pumped.
I'm curious how they'll balance, because we can just go around this open world basically and farm and all that. I'm wondering the moment to moment gameplay of the open world. I want to see what that looks like. I also want to see what mounted combat looks like.
Yep, I would love to see that as well.
I'm very much looking forward to that game because
me too.
I don't think From Software can really miss.
No, I mean Sekiro was their last one, and that was great. It didn't have the replayability of like a Souls game, but even then, like the single playthrough was so well worth it. It was super good.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, Sekiro. I finished it on stream, boy.
Oh,
I beat that final boss in under an hour.
Holy shit!
I crushed his ass. It was nothing.
Isn't that game's all about the blocking, right?
It's all
rhythm.
about parrying.
Yeah,
it'll fucking hone your parrying skill for eons to come. That's what that game is.
Maybe that was
really all about.
That was a precursor to your Smash.
It was. It was a precursor to Smash Bros. That's the other thing too with Elden Ring. The thing I'm excited for too is the development on it was unique in that they had George R.R. Martin come in and he wrote the world. He didn't write the plot. He just created the world, its history. I think they gave him certain things that they wanted in the game that they wanted to create and stuff, and just let him do it. And then once he was done, he handed the world off and he was done. He literally has no other input. There was an interview with him that I listened to recently where that was it. For a few months he would work with them, and occasionally they'll come and show him some monster designs that they created and stuff. But that's it. They just kind of gave him a world. That's fucking cool. There's something about that. I think I would love that if I was George R.R. Martin. I would love to just create a world and then watch people just create an incredible work of art out of this backdrop that I created. I really can't wait to see what they do with the world, what kind of lore we uncover, how we uncover it. I'm excited for that. Yeah,
because it'll be interesting to see. I know all of Dark Souls was very Western looking and Western inspired, but it was still very Japanese in a lot of places. So it's going to be very interesting to, as you say, see a Western fantasy world created by indeed a Westerner, but used and utilized and written for by a Japanese writer and team. That will be so interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to see their lens on this world and see what they do with it. And like you said, FromSoft hasn't done anything bad as far as I can even. I mean, they did fucking Ninja Blade, bro. And that game is like bad but great. It's so good. I'm excited. I think it's going to be really good. And at the very least, I think we'll at least get a Souls game, even if it doesn't blow our socks off in terms of like changing the way we look at their games. I'm sure they're still going to develop an incredibly solid experience.
I agree. Hey, a little trivia real quick. I don't know if you knew this, but there's a boss in Demon Souls called Armored Spider.
Oh, okay.
And they use the same model as a boss from Ninja Blade because that game came out like 4 months before.
Is it
Ninja
the monster
Blade.
that you absolutely crush with a wrecking ball?
I think so.
Do you remember that whole scene where we fucking hit it with a baseball bat and we swing the wrecking ball into a spider creature and they just get...
Every time I think of that Judge Mathas, you going wrecking ball. I always think of that.
That was so much fun, dude. Oh, that was such a fun video. Reminisce about that for a moment. What a good fucking video. Oh, Ninja Blade was such a fun game. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited to see what they do. Which brings us out of E3 finally, though, because that's kind of like the last we want to talk about it. And I think we'll wrap up this podcast with what we've been playing recently. Dean, what have you been up to recently? Have you had like a game you've really been diving into?
I think I might have said something similar last time. I've been playing Warzone with my friends.
Okay, back into the Warzone.
But I've been craving something heavier and something grittier and meatier, and so I've downloaded Escape from Tarkov again, and I've been nagging you
yes,
to play.
Yes, we're gonna play. We have to play.
It's
just
stressful. Yeah, it's stressful, but I can't get enough of it. It's fun. There's something about it, man.
It's that grind.
Outside of that, I've been playing Ratchet and Clank very slowly on the PS5.
How is that? I haven't played it.
More of Ratchet and Clank, really. I'm gonna say I'm disappointed in it simply because I guess I just want more, or maybe I'm not in the mood for that type of game right now. But it's very easy, very very by the numbers. It's very safe.
That's kind of how it looked when I've looked at gameplay and I've kind of gone back and forth on buying it. I'm like, it looks gorgeous, but also it just looks kind of straightforward.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's fine. It's like it's fine. It's not $70 fine, I don't think.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's pretty short. But it's good. And like you say, it's absolutely gorgeous. I haven't even played it on a 4K display yet, and I'm blown away by how good it looks. So I'm looking forward to playing it on a 4K monitor. But that's about it. Just Tarkov mainly, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been the same for me. I haven't been playing a ton of stuff. Recently for me, real life, I've been just kind of getting like the house situated still, very much decorating it and getting everything set up. But I've been putting a time into Monster Hunter Stories 2. That's kind of like where most of my gaming time has gone the past week, I guess. I never played Monster Hunter Stories 1. Did you?
No.
Okay. So then... I was hoping to like Monster Hunter Stories 2. I didn't expect to like it as much as I actually am enjoying the game. Because Pokemon's one of those series that I liked as a kid a lot. You know, I was right there when Red and Blue launched. But after a while, I kind of grew out of it. It just wasn't doing enough to move the gameplay forward. It just felt super simple, super easy, which I get it. It's a kid RPG to an extent, but there are aspects of that game that are also like extremely hard for the adults. Monster Hunter Stories 2 takes the Pokemon formula and says, okay, well, or maybe even Stories 1 did it too, but it says, like, looks at that formula and goes, oh, well, we know how to do this. We'll fix this. And the combat is a rock, paper, scissors style combat system on the surface with a ton of depth underneath. Because you're always, it's kind of, I'll do my best to explain. One of the biggest things is you have your monster party. You have all your little monsties. That's what you call them. And they come out and they join you. Each monster has a behavior type, either like basically we'll just call it a rocks, a papers, or a scissors behavior type. And you can't directly control your monster most of the time. He will usually lean on his behavior and do those types of attacks, though occasionally he might do his own special attack that falls under paper or rocks instead of scissors. However, as you fight, if you say a monster is targeting you with a rocks attack, and you need to do a papers attack to get back at it to overcome its attack. If you and your monster both attack that same monster, because you control your individual hunter as well.
Right.
If you and your monster attack that same monster at the same time, you do a duo attack. And you attack that monster. You actually negate their attack entirely. They don't actually injure you. And you do extra damage to their health bar as well as whatever part you're targeting, because there are breaking parts and stuff. But that builds a kinship meter, and you can spend that kinship meter to directly control your monster if you want to tell him to do a certain thing on a certain turn and kind of like force combos to happen. Or if you let it build all the way, you unlock an ultimate where you jump on your monster and your monster does this amazingly cool, hyper animated, like super attack that makes you feel like an anime superhero jumping around like mountains, going into the sky and sky clashing. And each one of those clashes has a mini game associated with it. So you're always involved, even if you're not doing a lot. Sometimes you got to rotate the stick for a couple seconds. Sometimes you got to like, it does like that Dragon Ball Z beam when two monsters shoot beams at each other. You got to like have yours go further. Sometimes you just got to mash a button, but it adds all that depth on top of the rocks, paper, scissors. And then you have the Monster Hunter layer on top where you need to do, where you're breaking parts off. And, the monsters are weak to certain types of attacks. So on top of the rocks, paper, scissors attack, you are also managing your weapons. You also carry one slashing weapon, one piercing weapon, and one bludgeoning weapon. And monsters are weak or particularly resistant to each one, and you need to swap those out as you're fighting. So I'm fighting like a puke, or I'm fighting like a puke, and its wings are weak to piercing, but its tail's weak to slashing. So I get my sword out, I'm targeting the tail, I'm doing these attacks. You break the tail, then you switch over to your gun lance, for me is what I'm using. And then in each weapon has a unique characteristic or ability attached to it. So for instance, the sword, if you do the great sword's like special attacks, you'll charge up the great sword 1 bar. Basically it has 2 bars and you can charge it up 1 bar, and then you can do another attack that'll charge up a 2nd bar. And then you have a special attack you can use that uses those 2 bars and does a bunch of damage to the monster. Where the gun lance has 8 pieces of ammo, and every time you hit the monster, no matter what, you get a shot built into your ammo. And as the monster as you keep attacking, you're building up ammo. And the gun lance's special abilities don't use any special meter; they only use the ammo you're building up. And when you use a special gun lance ability against a monster, if they're targeting you as well, and you win the rock, paper, scissors, that special ability not only does an insane amount of damage, uses up whatever ammo you decided to use in a special ability, but in addition, because it's a gun lance, you also build a full kinship meter bar in one attack. So like the gun lance thrives on you being targeted and you being the focus of the monster's attack while you build up these ammo so you can build up a kinship. So it plays into that tank-like gameplay that a gun lance would have in Monster Hunter, where the greatsword plays into that risky do attacks, and then spend it all in one go. And then the bludgeoning one is all about breaking like armored parts and doing attacks that do massive damage that might do like a stun thing at the end. So it has all that Monster Hunter like depth baked into a turn-based JRPG, which is what the game is.
That sounds, honestly, I had no idea the combat was that good. That sounds incredible.
It's so good. And that's not even what has me hooked, because what has me hooked is the Pokemon Collecta-style type thing. Like,
okay, that's what I was going to ask about.
Yeah.
How the monster management, tell me about it.
It's great. I love it. So you don't capture monsters like you do in Pokemon. You don't like sit there and befriend them when you beat them. You steal their eggs. So when you're out in the overworld, the game will randomly generate every time you go out there nests, monster nests all around the map. And when you can see them, you can recognize them. They're very easy to recognize. And most of them just look like a pile of gray rocks with a little opening in it. And when you go in there, there's a little mini dungeon that you can go through with some monsters to fight or go around and some little treasures to find. But at the end of it, there's a nest with a bunch of with an egg. And sometimes there's a monster sleeping there. Sometimes there's no monster there at all. And sometimes there's a monster awake patrolling it. You run up to the nest and you start searching for eggs. And you have a limited number of pulls that's randomly determined when you go into the nest from each one. And what you're looking for is 2 stats when you pull an egg. How heavy is it and how smelly is it? The heavier and the smellier it is, the more what that's telling you is that that's a rarer monster that's going to have some really good genes in it. So really special, nice abilities, maybe some really good stats. The lighter and less smelly it is, the less stats you have. As you're pulling eggs, each one has like a pattern on it. You can learn what the patterns mean so you can tell what monster you're pulling. But occasionally, as you're pulling an egg, you might get a golden glow. And as you pull the egg up and you have a golden egg, you have a rare egg pull, which is likely going to have better genes on top of potentially better stats if it's smelly and heavy. And then on top of that, you might get super fucking lucky and pull one of the rare rainbow eggs. And if you pull a rainbow egg, then you've got really good stats and really good genes on whatever monster this is going to be. If you pull and pull and pull, eventually you run out of eggs, usually somewhere around 5 and under, somewhere between 3 and 5 pulls. And if the monster's sleeping, on that last egg pull, usually the monster will wake up. Sometimes if there's no monster, every once in a while on that last pull, the mom monster comes back and you have to like escape. But once you beat the monster or you get out with the egg before the monster gets you, you are automatically, once you reach the edge of the room with the nest, you are automatically asked if you want to leave. You're teleported outside of the nest, and the egg is automatically sent back to your ranch. You don't have to like run it all the way back like you do in Monster Hunter. And then you can go back and hatch them. When you're on the world, though, every so often, you might see a golden den, which means it's a rare spawn monster den, which means you're more likely to get powerful and better eggs and more likely to pull a golden egg or a rainbow egg. And then the post game, when you beat the main story, then high rank dens unlock and ultra rare dens unlock, which are, I was listening to a video of somebody who's put over 100 hours into the game. He's only seen 3 ultra rare dens. They are like diamond, the way they look on the outside, and they are the ones that contain the elder dragon eggs and all those other like hyper rare monsters that you can get. You can only get them after you beat the main story and unlock high rank dens, and only if you see the den, the hyper rare diamond den. And even then, you might not necessarily pull the elder dragon you want or an elder dragon at all. But like that part has me coming back for like, just for like, I want to build my perfect team. Because the last bit I'll talk about is the management aspect. You have your ranch where you keep all your monsters. You keep 6 on you at any time, like Pokemon, but it has gene splicing. So every monster has a tic-tac-toe style grid of genes. Each gene is a rarity, from common to uncommon to rare to super rare, all the way up to like the 5th one, which is ultra rare. And each one of those genes can give you a passive ability or an active ability. And if you want, say, your Puke to shoot fireballs, you can go to a monster that you have that has the ability to shoot off a fireball, rip the gene out of it, and place it into the Puke's gene grid to give it fireball. But in the process, the monster you pulled the gene from gets sacrificed. So you don't get to keep the monster you pull the gene from. You lose it completely. It gets melded into that monster. And if you match up certain types on that tic-tac-toe grid, and so say you have down the left-hand row all the way down, say straight physical bonuses, they'll make a tic-tac-toe like bingo bonus. And now you'll get, say that each one was a health bonus. Now you'll get an extra 10% health bonus on top of the bonus that they were giving you because you lined them up. So there's like a ton of depth, and like if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, you can build your perfect monster team. You can have like a water monster that shoots fireballs that's strong against ice. Like you really can mess with it, but it requires you going out, finding those monsters, grinding for them, then taking those monsters and merging them and getting everything lined up. Great, but there's a ton there that I wish Pokemon had. You know what I mean?
This honestly sounds like everything I wish Pokemon was.
It is for me. It really is. The only thing I wish it had is such a simple, silly ask. I wish it had like a shiny system. I wish I could come across a differently colored Puke that you might only get a 1 in 1, like 4,000 shot to see. That would be sick.
As far as you know, there aren't things like the Azure Rathalos or the pink Rathian.
No, there are deviants in this game. So there is like the blue Yuan Kutku, as opposed to the regular Yuan Kutku, who has a slightly different abilities and looks different, but he's not rare. If you want that particular type of monster, you just got to go to where they are located and then just go around the dens. It's not like it's going to be a 1 in 400 chance to find one. It's that kind of thing I'm looking for. Like that, I want that idea of like, I might 1 in 1,000 find like a Rathalos that's like fucking orange or like neon pink or something that just, isn't normal, just to give you that extra dose of like dopamine when you play in these games, because there's a lot of gotcha involved and it feeds on that gotcha feeling. But like other Monster Hunter as well, it has 3 patches already planned with more monsters that you can catch in each one of them. More content's already coming. So there's plenty of content coming out for it.
It's so good how Capcom treat Monster Hunter. It's so good.
Especially, yeah. I'm so glad it took off in the West finally.
Yeah.
It's nice. And like you can have up to, I think there's like 90 something, or there's either like 90 something or 100 something monsters that you can own yourself in the game, but there's like 150 that you can fight total. You just can't find an egg for every single one of them.
Right.
Still a good number. And there's going to be added on.
So,
So-
how much of a social element with the monsters do we get into? Can we faff about with them in any way, or is it just...
Yeah, so at least I'm 10, 11 hours in so far, and the only thing you really do with them is ride them. That's how you get around the world, and each one has different abilities. So if you want to swim in the water, getting a Royal Ludroth is the only way you can start like swimming, at least early on. Same thing with climbing. But you don't feed them, you don't pet them, you don't hang out with them. They are there to fight with you, collect, hang out with, and like ride. And that's kind of the extent of it, at least thus far. So it's that, I guess that's more Monster Hunter-y than a Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, honestly, from you've sold me on it. I really want to play it. I was grinning halfway through your description because
it's good. I didn't even think about the whole like playing with them kind of aspect because it's not really like the game is, there's so much there, and it's a decent story. It's a kid's story. It's meant to be. And you will notice the first few hours the game is very easy. But once one of your partners ends up leaving and you realize the tutorial, quote unquote, is done, like most Monster Hunter games, the tutorial is like 6-7 hours long, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But you realize when the main story kind of starts, that's when things start getting kind of hard. And if you want to go out of your way to find like the royal monsters, there are like 6 of them in the game. The royal monsters are always on the map. They're always sleeping. And you can fight them. And if you fight them, this is something I didn't even talk about. If you're fighting a monster, after you beat it, it always has a very small % chance to retreat. And if it retreats, it automatically generates a den that you run to where there will only be one egg, and it will always be that monster that you fought. So you can do things to up its chance. There are armor sets that'll up its chance to retreat. You can hit it with a paintball, and that will up its chance to retreat at the end of a battle for 3 turns if you beat it within those 3 turns. And so these royal monsters lie around, and they're like really popular ones. One of the earliest ones is the Tigrex, for instance. And the Tigrex kicked my ass 5 times. He killed me 5 fucking times before I got him. And when I finally beat him, he didn't even retreat. He just died. So I didn't even get the egg right away. I had to go back, fight him again, and then like hit him with a paintball when he died. And in classic Monster Hunter fashion, when you first fight a monster, you can't see its health bar. It just says question mark. But after you beat a monster, you then know its health from there on. So fighting Tigrex the second time, hit it with a paintball, wear armor that ups its skill that it's going to retreat, and it retreated the second time. And then you can go get a Tigrex, go fish for a Tigrex egg.
Yeah.
And like, maybe you'll get a golden one. Maybe you only want a royal Tigrex as a rainbow egg, which means you're going to have to fight that thing fucking forever and hope that you get a rainbow egg.
Yeah.
But these royal monsters are really hard challenges early on, even if it's really easy in those first like handful of hours or so.
Okay.
And then the post game is fucking supposed to be insanely hard.
That's good.
Yeah, I want high rank dens really bad. I'm like trying to get through the story, and I want to be able to start, because you can't do elder dragons and stuff until the story's over. Then you can go do the elder dragons and stuff.
Oh, okay. Do the elder dragons work any different, or are they just big? I doubt they work any different.
Yeah, I don't think they'll work different. I think they'll just be big and do a lot of damage. Yeah. Like the royal Tigrex, if I did not do the right attack to block at the right time, or I just didn't pay attention and I accidentally didn't realize he was aiming at my monster, he would one hit me no matter what. It was one hit and I'd hit the ground. Yeah, it's great. Like, go check it out. Like if you're, and anybody who's listening, if you're like a Pokemon fan, but have been wanting more like the next iteration on that formula, I think this is it. And like the combat too is not like Pokemon in that you just see them kind of do a wiggle and they do an attack, or they'll do an attack from far away. The monsters charge up and like they run at each other and they do these clashes and shit. It's really, really good. Check it out.
Hell yes.
Hell yes. And that is where we're going to end MADPod episode 2 for July of 2021. Dean, as always, thanks for joining me. Everybody here on the channel, expect to see much more Dean, probably actually before this episode even goes up, but maybe right around the same time. You're going to be seeing Dean a lot more often, at least a couple times a week on the Mathas Games channel here, either streaming or putting up a video or something. Just he's becoming a partner on the Mathas channel, so it's we're excited for it. You're going to see new art popping up soon for all that stuff. So we're excited to have you on, Dean. It's been a long time coming with how long we've been working together, dude.
Hell yes. Thank you very much for having me. I'm looking forward to getting started.
And thank you for being with me for so long. We will see you guys next month, August 2021. I'm a little nervous because there's probably not a lot of game news going to happen between now and then. It is the summer dregs, but we'll figure something out. Until then, goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.